Hey guys, we are live and this is Greg with Apple Explained. Thank you to everyone who was waiting on me. There's about 10 people waiting before we even started. Hope you are having a great Saturday. This is going to be just like we normally do every Saturday night. You ask me questions about Apple, about YouTube, about what's going on in my life, and I'll answer it. We're going to be on for an hour from 9 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. We have a couple moderators with us. Right now I'm seeing Daniel. Daniel is one of our moderators. Thank you very much, Daniel, for joining and helping us out. Usually Alex is on here and sometimes Gordon joins us. So Gordon is here. Thank you, Gordon. So before I start, I just want to say, I want to apologize because last week after the stream, I went to the Discord. And by the way, if you don't know, we have a Discord. You should join it. Daniel or Gordon or someone, one of our moderators will post an invitation link in the live chat. You can see that. You can click on it, accept the invitation, and then you'll go to our Discord server. Now, at the end of every live stream, I go over there and everybody is allowed to ask one question and I answer all the questions in a Q&A video. Well, I recorded the Q&A video on my phone and I accidentally pressed slow-mo instead of video mode in the camera settings. So after I finished recording the 15-minute or so Q&A video, I noticed that it was actually 44 minutes long because the slow-mo was on. And the video file was way too big to even manage. Like I tried compressing it as much as I could. It still didn't fit on Discord. I couldn't slow it down. I couldn't speed it up. It was a mess. I spent like half an hour messing with it. I gave up. And so now today there is a special offer, limited time offer. On the Discord server, after this live stream ends at 10 p.m. Eastern time, you will be able to post 2 questions. You can repost the question from last week that I didn't get to answer because I couldn't upload the video. And you get to add an extra question just because I messed up. So I want to say sorry about that. Thank you for joining us today. We already have almost 150 people on. Again, send a super chat and that will prioritize your question so I can answer it, or else your question will probably get lost in just the stream of questions that you see in the live chat right now. All right, let me start answering questions. Seon YT, nice to see you tonight. They said my Apple Watch just broke. That sucks. I had my Series 5 Apple Watch break on me. I'm looking for a new one under $100. Ooh. That's going to be tough. I mean, maybe you can find a Series 2 under $100, but I don't even know if you can do that. I would just recommend keeping an eye out on local apps like Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp, even Letgo. Usually, if you look every single day, it might take maybe a month or two, but usually you can find a really good deal on used Apple products on there. So I recommend doing that. By the way, I always get questions about like, what iPhone should I upgrade to? Like right now I'm on an iPhone 7. Should I upgrade to the 10R or the 11? Or, those kinds of questions. And so I'm thinking about, again, I just thought this today. I'm thinking about making a website, a really good website whose sole purpose is to recommend upgrades. Like if you have this iPhone and you have this much money, you should upgrade to this new model, or the future model, or the previous model used. And then it's tracking the value of all Apple devices. Because it's hard to figure out, like, what is my phone worth? How how much do I have to pay if I upgrade to a used iPhone XR? You have to go to eBay or Swappa and you have to look up all those values yourself and do the math and figure out what upgrade is worth it and what you can afford and what's best for your budget and just what's best for your needs. Anyway, I'm gonna look into like seeing how that can be created, if I can hire someone to do that. I just think that it would be a really good tool for people to use so that on these streams, when someone says, hey, I'm looking to upgrade to a new MacBook, which one should I get? Right now I have the 2015. I can just say, go to this website and then put in all the information and it'll tell you exactly what you need. I think that would be great. Anyway, all right. Lorenzo Vergara said, Greg, oh wait, I have a super chat. Let me get to that. Sorry about that. Black Hat Frog, thank you for that $5 UK super chat. I really appreciate it. There was no question along with that super chat, so you can ask a question if you want, Black Hat Frog. Xavier Tan said, what do you think the iPhone 12 camera system would house? It's a good question since there was such a significant upgrade to the camera system in the iPhone 11. I think the iPhone 12 will probably have some sort of 3D sensor, some sort of 3D lens that allows augmented reality to function more accurately. I think we'll see something like that. Maybe we'll see like a better zoom, maybe a better optical zoom or something. Lorenzo Vergara, have you ever had a phone just die when your battery is at 50%? Any recommendations to prevent this? Is this an old device? Because usually if you have a mobile device with a rechargeable battery for 4, 5, 6 years, that battery is depleted and it's not holding the same amount of juice that it used to. And that's what happens. Maybe you'll get to 20% and it'll die. Maybe you'll get to 25% and it'll die. The indicator isn't accurate. The battery isn't healthy anymore. So I would highly recommend going to the Apple Store or whatever company the product is from and having them do like a diagnostic test on the battery to see if it needs to be replaced. It probably needs to be replaced. Lucky Dog Gaming, thank you for that $2 super chat. Lucky Dog said, Apple gives higher trade values for phones versus carriers. Yeah, if you're gonna trade in a phone or something, go to Apple to trade it in. Don't go to AT&T or Sprint or Verizon. They usually don't offer very good deals. Even like the upgrade programs, like I know Sprint has an iPhone Forever upgrade program, at least they used to, and I know Apple has an upgrade program. I think Apple's is a better deal. Usually Apple offers the better deal on that kind of stuff. Ivan Technology said, what is your Twitter account? I don't really use Twitter that much. I have an Apple Explained Twitter account. You can just go search Apple Explained on Twitter. But I don't really post. I post a lot more on Instagram. If you want to see like some behind the scenes looks at my YouTube channel, go to my Instagram, Apple Explained. You'll see a photo of my live stream setup, what I'm seeing right now. You'll see like how I type my scripts. I've actually been using my iPad with the Apple Folio keyboard. This is really game changing. And I used to bring my MacBook Pro with me, like to a library or to a cafe to type. But then actually what changed my mind was the mouse support. I realized, wait, iPads have mouse support. I wonder if I can just take my iPad to the cafe with this, so I bought this. And then maybe I can do everything I need to without bringing my whole computer set up with me. And then what I realized is I didn't even use the mouse. I was just using my finger when I needed to manipulate something on the screen. But otherwise, I just needed this keyboard and this iPad, and I can write my scripts anywhere, which is a lifesaver. It's amazing. It's so portable and so convenient, and the battery life is amazing. I don't have to plug it in when I get there. I can just sit anywhere. I don't need to worry about outlets because the battery lasts all day. It's great. Sheldon Williams, thank you for that $2 super chat. Good to see you tonight, Sheldon. They said the hoodie has returned. Well, I'm usually wearing a hoodie every week, but yes, this hoodie in particular, the one that matches my walls, has returned. Christopher Dixon, good to see you tonight, Chris. Thank you for that $5 super chat. Christopher said, last week you called diet root beer pop, and I'm mad that you don't call this by its proper name, soda. I live in Virginia. Okay, so I actually thought that, I mean, obviously soda and pop is both correct. It just depends where you're at, your region. But I thought most states in the US said soda. But if you look at all the polling done, all the data, the majority of people in the US call it pop. They don't say soda, which is very interesting. So I think technically that means I'm right. Unicorn Girl said, do you work at Apple? No, I don't work at Apple. I don't work for Apple. I am in no way affiliated with Apple. I have never worked for Apple. I tried working for Apple when I was a teenager. I went to 4 different group hiring events, and I never got an interview. Lucky Dog Gaming, thank you for your second super chat of $2. I really appreciate it. They said, congrats on coming out. I enjoy your content. I appreciate that. Thank you for your support. A person said, why is there a seal or whale or whatever animal on your TV? It's a wallpaper. Okay, so if you guys don't know the wallpaper drama, if you've been following my live streams, you already know this. 2 weeks ago, I turned on my Apple TV so that you can have something to look at other than me when you're watching this video. And only the whale screensaver was playing. It was just repeating like on a loop, the whale, the whale, the whale. And I'm like, when is this gonna change? Because the Apple TV is supposed to automatically download all the new wallpapers on its own and then show them. And then last week, I think the dolphin appeared. And now we have a couple more, but it's taking a while to download all the new wallpapers, so you probably keep seeing the same one over and over. But it's just the Apple TV. Ryan W. said, do you know why Apple Watch faces are limited? I think you're saying, why doesn't Apple allow for third-party watch faces or custom watch faces? It's a good question. And I think it has a lot to do with Apple's control over the look and feel of their product. Because the watch face on the Apple Watch is the entire watch. Like, it's not just a background, it's not just an element, it's the entire shebang. When you look at it, I mean, the whole thing is the watch face. So if you have a weird third-party watch face that Apple doesn't like, or they don't think works well, or I don't know. I think that's part of the reason why they don't do it. Now, that being said, that was also an excuse they gave for not allowing for third-party apps on the iPhone. Steve Jobs didn't want third-party apps for those reasons. They thought developers would create apps that weren't good quality, and it would diminish the value of an iPhone. Now, they were able to allow for third-party apps because they released a developer SDK, which limited what developers can do and made sure that there was some kind of quality control with third-party apps. And I think we might find something similar happen with the Apple Watch. I think eventually, I really feel like there's going to be a watch face store where you can download third-party watch faces, maybe even pay for them. Maybe there'll be some exclusive or premium ones. And I think it's gonna be a similar like Apple watch face SDK for developers. I think we'll see that eventually, but it's just gonna take time. Everything with Apple, when it comes to like customizing and stuff, it always takes time with Apple. They wanna make sure they do it right. Lorenzo Vergara said, Greg, why don't you make an intro for your videos instead of just right off the bat, hey guys, it's Greg. I don't really have an intro for my videos. I mean, when my videos start, it's the content. I mean, I start talking right away. And then after that sort of like synopsis of what the video is going to be about, then I say, it's Greg with Apple Explained. That's my intro. It's Greg with Apple Explained. And then I say the sponsor, if there is one. And then I say, you know, about the voting polls and subscribing. So that's kind of my intro. I don't see a reason to change it. I don't want to have like a boom, 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 Apple Explained. Like, I don't want that kind of thing. I don't want that. I just want right to the content. This is me. I'm Greg with Apple Explained. This is kind of what this is all about. Okay, this is the video. Because you only have like 10 seconds to get someone's attention when they click on a video. And if they click on a video and then they have to sit through an intro and then they have to sit through like all the other stuff I talk about that's not really related to the content of the video, there's a good chance they're gonna click right off that video. And that's bad when it comes to getting a favorable position in the algorithm and getting recommended and that kind of stuff. Small Happy Otter said, what program do you use for streaming? I just use the YouTube app on my iPhone. There's a button. After you get past a certain amount of subscribers or something, you unlock the live stream feature in the YouTube app, and I just press that and I do everything from within that app. Gang Time said, are AirPods Pro coming in color? That's a really good question. I really thought AirPods Pro would come in at least black when they were introduced, but Apple stuck to white, which I kind of understand. I mean, their headphones have always been white, ever since the very first iPod in 2001. It's their signature color. They like that brand recognition of when people see them, they know it's AirPods, they recognize that it's Apple. That being said, I do think there's a good chance eventually they will be in at least black. Maybe they'll be in colors, maybe they'll be in, I don't know, maybe eventually they'll match the iPhone colors. I think that would make sense. They are working on, rumors suggest they're working on AirPods Pro Lite. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the name, but supposedly they're working on a version of the AirPod Pro model without the noise canceling technology and without the transparency mode. And it'll be cheaper, but you still get that in-ear design, which I think is a good idea. I think there is demand for that. Now, is that going to be the model that comes in colors? I think it would make sense, but I thought it would also make sense with the normal AirPods Pro, which they didn't do. So we'll just have to wait and see. Blazing Fermite YT said, what are your opinions on Samsung S20 smartphone? I know a little bit about it because I had to do research for the history of the Samsung Galaxy S series video that I just put out a couple weeks ago. And I learned a lot because I really didn't know that much about Samsung's smartphones. But the update they just had was pretty insignificant. I mean, they talked half the time about 5G. And if you've seen my live streams before, you already know my feelings about 5G. I think it's not really worth having a 5G phone right now. The infrastructure isn't in place to take advantage of 5G right now. And the other thing they talked about was just the camera. I mean, that was what they talked about the entire time, the camera and 5G. And yeah, the camera is better. I think there's a couple gimmicky features like the digital zoom. Kind of interesting, but also kind of a gimmick. So yeah, I didn't think it was that exciting. I didn't think it was that exciting. It's kind of amazing that they're selling a $1,400 smartphone though. The S20 Ultra, $1,400. I mean, that is crazy. I mean, people criticize Apple, you know, when the iPhone 10 came out and it was $1,000, people were losing their minds. Not really Apple fans, but Samsung Android users were losing their minds. And then Samsung comes out with a $1,400 smartphone. Whew. Blue Room, thank you for that $5 super chat. Let me just make sure before I get to you, Blue Room, I didn't miss anybody else. And I did not. Blue Room said, you can get a refurbished Apple Watch 4 for $300 from apple.com. Yeah, I usually recommend, if you're looking into Apple Watches, to buy the Series 4 Apple Watch either used or refurbished from Apple. That's also a good idea. Although I didn't know Apple was still selling them refurbished. If not, just buy it used. But someone said they were trying to find an Apple Watch for under $100, which you probably won't be able to find a Series 4 for that price. And if you did, it's probably broken. Parker Shaw, thank you for that $5 super chat. Parker said, do you think iOS 14 will get split screen always on display? Yeah, I really hope so. I'm very interested in the always on OLED display technology on the Series 5 Apple Watch. I think that's a pretty significant feature. I know initially there was some trouble with people with battery life. People said that it was taking up more battery than it was supposed to. I think that was a software problem and that got solved. But I think having an always on display on the iPhone would be really nice. Just to be able to see what time it is, or just to be able to see notifications or the time, or just quick functions, quick pieces of information you can get from an always on display would be great, especially if it didn't affect battery life too much. And I really want split screen, or at least picture-in-picture mode on the iPhone. Because you have that on the iPad right now for certain video types, where you can put a video, like you can minimize it in the corner and then leave the app and do other things on your iPad, and the video will stay in the corner. You can actually adjust the size of that video and everything. You can control the video right there. It's really convenient. Also, the split screen on the iPad is fantastic. I would love those kind of multitasking features on the iPhone. I think since these smartphone displays now are so big, they can start implementing features like that. I really think they can. John, oh no, not John. Where did I just see that? Oh, Brett Walton said Costco had great deals on Apple products. I got my Series 3 from them. How much was the Series 3 you got, and when did you get it? I know Costco sometimes has good deals on electronics. Jackson P said, will Apple make a foldable phone? I don't think so. I have yet to be convinced of the benefits of a folding phone. Again, if you followed my streams in the past, you'd already know my opinion on folding phones. I don't like them. I don't really understand the point. The compromises that you make with folding phones doesn't really justify the benefits of it. The only benefit I can see is that since you can fold it, maybe it fits better in a purse or in your pocket. Maybe it doesn't slide out as easily. I mean, that's like the only benefit I can think of, and I don't know if that's enough to justify the durability issues, to justify the lower quality glass or plastic displays, to justify having a crease in the middle of your phone all the time. I don't know. A person said, how many lights do you have there? There are a lot of lights and all I see is a lamp. Well, no, you see more than a lamp. This is my lamp. I have 2 lights behind my TV that's kind of going up onto the wall. And then this right here is another floor lamp with 3 bulbs. And then I have this light right here, which is just a ceiling light with the bulb. Oh, so I got quite a few lights in here. And they all are Hue. It's all Hue lights. Oh, also right here, my display case, my cabinet, has the Hue light strip taped to the top of the display case. I actually had to do that myself. Like I had to modify this IKEA display case to accommodate the lighting. It was a long process. If I had a vlogging channel, I would have liked to make a video about that whole process because it was kind of interesting. And I really like how it turned out. But what's really nice is I can say, watch, I can say, hey Siri, turn my lights blue. Kind of worked. Hey Siri, turn the lights red. I don't know why it's not working for these. Usually I can control, hey Siri, it's bedtime. So then see how that dimmed all of the, oh, this is actually nice lighting. Do you guys like this lighting? I'm really bright. I like that. So that's my bedtime setup. And then I can say, hey Siri, it's sunset. And that's kind of like how I like to have it as it's dark at nighttime. I kind of like the other lighting more. What do you guys think? I have a super chat and I can't find it. Here we go. Black Hat Frog, again, thank you for your second super chat of the night. This time, $10 UK super chat. I really appreciate that, Black Hat Frog. They said, tried boot camp on my Mac, but after reboot, no bootable device detected. Oh, geez, this is a technical question. Honestly, I'm not that great when it comes to the technical aspect of Apple products. I'm not sure what that means. If you can't find anything to solve that problem when you Google it, I would take it to an Apple store if you have access to one. If not, I would Google it because I honestly would have to do research. I have no idea about Boot Camp. I have actually never used Boot Camp before. Lorenzo Vergara said, hey Greg, in your opinion, would it be better to get a tripod to move the camera around instead of setting your phone on a bunch of tissue boxes? You want to buy it for me? These tissue boxes are free. But no, technically I have a tripod. It's called the Pocket Tripod, and I'll show you. So this thing right here, I don't know if you guys can see this. This is called the Pocket Tripod. And it's hard to demonstrate, but I'll try. So it folds actually. It folds, boom, and then it goes boom, and then you turn it around, and then boom, and it folds like flat, so that you can slide it in your wallet. That way I can always have this in my wallet, and then if I'm at a restaurant or somewhere where I'm trying to watch a YouTube video and I want to prop up my phone, because I don't like having like pop sockets or like a ring on the back of my phone, I just want it to be bare. So I take this with me so I can just go like boom, 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 and then I have a nice little prop tripod for my phone. So that's what I use on top of my tissue boxes. They call it a tripod. It's not a tripod in the traditional sense of the word. But no, I don't think I need a tripod. I mean, I thought about it. I don't think it's necessary for what I use my phone for. I missed a couple super chats. Christopher Dixon, nice to see you, Chris. Thank you for that $2 super chat. They said the It's Bedtime lighting is the best. Okay, let me do that then. There we go. All right. This is like some beauty guru lighting right now. Next super chat. Louis Jacques. Thank you, Louis or Louis, for that $2 super chat. They said, hello, Apple Explain. Hello. Vienna Binders said, what are your thoughts on the iPhone 12? Well, we don't know exactly. I mean, it's not out yet. But I expect, as I mentioned before, I would expect an always-on display. I expect maybe a smaller notch, maybe. But for some reason, I don't think it's going to happen this year. But it would be nice. Maybe improved Face ID. Maybe a 3D, like time of flight camera sensor for augmented reality. Maybe reverse wireless charging. Maybe a little bit thinner. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Apparently, it's supposed to come in like a navy blue color this time. I'm trying to think if there's any other rumors. I feel like I'm missing something. Maybe USB-C. I mean, that would be really nice to have USB-C on my phone, because then I would have everything USB-C. My computer, my iPad, my iPhone, even my Nintendo Switch is USB-C. So just one cable for everything would be great. Lex Walsh said, do you think Apple should still be selling the iPod Touch? Yeah, I made a video about this. I think it was called Why Apple is Still Selling the iPod. And I go into detail about my opinion, but it makes sense that Apple is selling the iPod Touch because it sort of acts as a very affordable entry-level iOS device for not only kids who aren't old enough to have a smartphone yet, but for commercial uses, like maybe in a restaurant, if the what's that called? Point of service system, like the system in the restaurant, you use your iPod to take orders. That kind of application is good. You don't really need something with a cellular connection. You just need Wi-Fi. So there is a reason why it's still around. Now, the question is, how much effort is Apple going to put into updating it and making it better? I mean, obviously, point of sale. Thank you, Kay. POS. I thought it was POS. Point of sale. I don't know how much effort Apple's going to put into updating it. That's the thing. Because if you remember back in the day, iPods were updated every year. It was a big thing. Like, you know how we have iPhone events? There used to be iPod events. And like I think it was every summer, I think. There was a new iPod Shuffle, new iPod Nano, new iPod Classic, new iPod Touch. But of course, that does not happen anymore. Brett Walton said, is $50 worth it for a watch band? I guess it depends on what it is. I mean, if it's one of Apple's expensive watch bands and you're getting it used for $50, then it's a good deal. But if you're talking about paying, you know, I think it's $40 for Apple's like sport bands, I would just go to eBay and get a cheap one for like $5 or $10. I don't think you would be able to tell a difference. Fanush Reddy said, why is Apple moving to in-display fingerprint readers and removing Face ID? There are rumors that Apple is going to be putting a fingerprint reader behind the display for the new iPhone. I don't know if it's going to be this year's or next year's or 2022 iPhones. But this is what I think the idea is behind that. I don't think they're doing it to replace Face ID. I think they're adding it as an extra layer of security when you're using the device. Because right now, the only time your identity is verified is when you unlock your iPhone. Once you unlock it, you can use it and it's not verifying who you are. So by adding that extra layer of security with the fingerprint reader, while you use your phone, without you even knowing it, the iPhone is continuously checking the fingerprint that's touching the phone to make sure it's yours. So you have the Face ID to unlock, tap, 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 tap. It's getting the information on your finger while you're using the phone to double check that it still is you using the device. And then, if it's not, if someone takes it out of your hands while you're using it or something, it'll like lock the device again because it recognizes it, or it doesn't recognize the fingerprint. I think that's the idea. I'm not sure. That's just what makes sense to me. Akshay Kumar said, I have the current generation iPad Pro. Should I buy the next one that's apparently coming in March? Is it March or is it this fall? I think the 2020 iPad Pro is supposed to arrive in the fall, I believe. If you have the iPad, which iPad Pro? I don't think you mentioned. If you have like the 2018 iPad Pro, I don't know if there's going to be a significant upgrade. I think it's mainly going to be an upgrade to the camera. So you probably don't need to upgrade. Here's the thing though. I just read a rumor today that Apple is working on a new version of this Folio keyboard. And apparently, because I don't know if you guys know how this works. It kind of works like this. Apparently, they're making a new one that has a trackpad and that has scissor mechanisms for the keys instead of like, I don't know, whatever this is. I don't know if it's a butterfly mechanism. But it would be nice if these had more of a click, and it would be nice if they had a built-in trackpad. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if we're going to be getting that or not, but if that's true, I would upgrade to a whole new iPad just to have access to this with a trackpad and a better keyboard. Because, that's what I do all my work on, most of my work on when I'm writing my scripts. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope that's true. Sane Ghoul said, could the iPhone 9 with its small screen, high specs, and low cost lead to Android phone makers trying to compete? I'm not sure what that means. I think the thing is, Android and Apple doesn't compete in all the markets Android does. Because Android refers just to an operating system. It's not referring to a certain type of hardware or company. It's just the Android operating system, which runs on hundreds of different devices, including tablets. So when you're talking about cheap Android phones, like you can get probably an Android phone for $200, $300. Cheap Android smartphone. Apple is never going to be competing in that market because they don't make cheap low-end products. They never have, and they never will. But by making a lower cost phone, maybe a $400, scaled down iPhone which has maybe technology that's a couple years old, maybe a few years old, but it's a lot cheaper. I think they could compete with the Android market more competitively because the price is lower. But I think more importantly is it would position them much better in foreign markets like China and India, where the customers there are very price sensitive. And when you consider the tariffs and taxes that increase the iPhone's cost even more in those countries, you're looking at an iPhone 11 that costs, over $1,000 in some cases, which is way out of people's budgets in countries like India. So that's my thoughts on the iPhone 9. I'm really looking forward to that keynote. Noah Capabianco, thank you for that $2 super chat. Noah said, will Apple have a cheaper laptop with Mac OS? I think that's what you meant to write. Oh, with the Mac also? Will Apple make a cheaper notebook computer than they already do with the MacBook Air, which is $1,100, I believe? I don't think so. I think the cheapest notebook Apple has ever made is $1,000, maybe $900. I think the 11-inch MacBook Air was $900. I don't think it was $800. I think it was $900. Anyway, Apple really hasn't gone much lower than $1,000 when it comes to their notebook computers. In fact, $900 is one of the cheapest prices of an Apple notebook computer in their history. So again, Apple does not compete on the lower end of the market. They don't compete in cheap notebooks. They don't do like a Chromebook kind of thing. They deliver a really as good of an experience as they can at the lowest price point possible. But they don't sacrifice the experience just to make it cheaper. Joe Mack said, do you use Apple shortcuts? And if so, which? Are you talking about Siri shortcuts? Yeah, I set up a few Siri shortcuts with my car because I have a Tesla and it connects to the internet and it's connected to my phone. So supposedly I'm supposed to be able to set up a Siri shortcut to like start the car or preheat the car or lower the windows or whatever. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I'll show you. I'll demonstrate live. I'm going to use Siri on my watch. Start the car.
Sorry, Shortcuts is currently unavailable on Apple Watch.
Shortcuts is currently unavailable on Apple Watch. So my question is, how are we supposed to do all these Siri shortcuts? I mean, how can Apple expect us to spend time on it when I can't get it to work reliably? I mean, that's my biggest problem with Siri in general, is that if you can't get something to work reliably, you tend not to use it at all because it's so frustrating when it only works half the time that you might as well just go and do it manually to avoid the stress, frustration, and wasted time of trying to get it to work. Sven Bergesen said, what iPhone should I get for around $250 to $300? I would first look at the iPhone 10. I don't know how much they're going for right now. I think it might be somewhere around 400, maybe around $400, maybe $350 for the iPhone 10 right now. If you could afford that, go for the iPhone 10. If not, look at the iPhone 8 because I think you can find that definitely for $300, maybe even a little under $300. Chicken Wing said, do you use or want to use a Mac Pro? I don't currently use a Mac Pro. I never have owned a Mac Pro. It's just too much power for what I need. I don't do like super intense video editing. If you've seen my videos, you probably know that. I mean, it's basically a slideshow. Basically, my videos are just photos. So I'm not dealing with like 4K video files that require a ton of graphic and processing power. Now, if someone gave me a Mac Pro for free and said, do you want to use it? I mean, I would try it out. But honestly, I don't think a Mac Pro would fit into my workflow very well. I prefer having a notebook computer. I travel a lot. I mean, I go to Japan a lot, and I need to take all that with me. I cannot just take some of it. I need everything. The size of the Mac Pro is a problem for me. I mean, I don't want a big tower in my bedroom because that's where my desk is. I don't have a separate room for my office. So right now, a Mac Pro, it just doesn't make sense for me. I would rather spend all that extra money on like a maxed out MacBook Pro instead of buying a Mac Pro. Rufino Morales said, what are your thoughts on a rumored over-ear Apple headphone? Do you think that it should compete with Beats? I mean, Apple's already competing with Beats. You know, Beats has their own a Power Beats Pro wireless earbuds. Apple has AirPods, so they're technically already competing in the same market. The question is, if Apple is going to make over-ear headphones, you have to consider that they're going to be bigger, they're going to be heavier, they're going to be bulkier when traveling. They're not going to be something you can just put in your pocket and go. It's going to be something you need a bag for. So what extra capabilities or features will they offer in these over-ear headphones that will make them so compelling that I want to deal with a bigger, bulkier, more expensive headphone? To be honest, I had the Bose over-ear headphones. I still do. And the sound quality is better and the noise canceling technology is better than the AirPods Pro. But the convenience of the AirPods Pro completely overrides any feature benefit of the Beats. Now I still use, Bose headphones. I still use my Bose headphones for airplanes because the noise canceling is really good for that. And I use it like to edit my videos to make sure the sound leveling is good because I really want that high sound quality. Other than that, I don't really use it anymore because my AirPods Pro replaced them. I Am Chicken said, do you have an Apple collection, iPhone, iPad, etc.? Yeah, I have an Apple collection. Actually, let me go get it. Let me show you guys my Apple collection. I'm not going to get everything because I'll just get some of the stuff. Hold on a second. All right, so this is my box of miscellaneous Apple stuff. Eventually I want to get like a, I don't know, like a shelf, like a bookshelf or like some sort of shelving unit thing with like drawers that I can organize all this Apple stuff because I'm just starting to accumulate so much of it. But here's some stuff from my collection. This is the original iPod Shuffle. And yeah, it's in the box, but the box has been opened. I just like taped it shut to make it look better. And you would think like, oh, an original iPod Shuffle, this must be worth like what? At least $100, right? These are really cheap. If you want like some good historic Apple memorabilia, I recommend the original iPod Shuffle because you can get it on eBay for like $15 or $20. Even with the box, you can get it for like $20, which is a really good deal, I think. Next I have, actually let's stick to the iPod Shuffle. So that was the original iPod Shuffle in the box. Here is the final iPod Shuffle in the box. This was the last generation iPod Shuffle before it was discontinued. And it actually looks red, I think, on the camera, but this is the pink model. I wanted the product red, but I couldn't find it for a good price. But when it comes to product red, I do have a product red iPod Nano, as you can see. Product red special edition. Now, the reason why this is so, and this is like sealed. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is the original factory seal that Apple puts on their products, and it's never been opened. This is a really good collector's item. When the iPods were discontinued, I started buying like a whole bunch of them on like OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace and stuff because I knew they were going to go up in value. Retail, as you can see, the iPod Nano was $150 from Apple. But today, if you want to buy one of these sealed on eBay, they're going for upwards of $250. I think I had 4 of these. I was able to get my hands on 4. And I sold 3. I sold one of them for like $200. The other one I sold for $250. And the last one I sold for almost $300 on eBay. And then of course I kept the last one just for my own collection. And then I have an original iPod Touch. This isn't like super special, but it's just an original iPod Touch. And then I have an original. So we had the newest iPod Nano. Now we have the original iPod Nano. Now this is a really interesting product. First of all, when this came out, it was very popular. Everyone had one of these. So you would think that it's not worth very much because there were so many of them made. The thing is, there was a battery issue with these where they would sometimes explode. So Apple issued a recall and they let people send in this original iPod Nano and they replaced it with the new iPod Nano, which at the time was about the size of the iPod Shuffle, but it had a touchscreen on it. And actually my dad sent his in and did that. And a lot of people did that because you were getting a new iPod Nano for free, basically. So that made these much more rare and much more valuable. And if you want one of these, even in this condition, like really scratched up and stuff, it's gonna cost you almost $100 on eBay. And if you find one in really good condition, which I do have one, I bought one like in new condition with the box, those go for like over $200, and if it has the box and stuff, it can go as high as $300. I mean, these are very valuable right now. So if you can find one on Facebook or OfferUp for like $10 or $20 or even $30, definitely buy it. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, this is gonna be the last thing I show you. This is the original iPod. It actually has the physical click wheel that actually moves, and this is the original case that was sold by Encase during that time period. But yeah, this is the original iPod. And you can tell because the font is a serif font. And this is the only iPod ever produced with a serif font, which means there's like little pointy parts in the corners rather than like clean rounded corners. And it was made in Taiwan, whereas I think all the other iPod models were moved to China. Now since this is so valuable, I mean, this goes for like maybe $200 or $300 on eBay, especially if it's in pretty good condition like this one is. I keep this, I don't even put it in my display case. I have the second generation original iPod. It looks very similar, but it's not the original. I keep this in its case, safe and sound, just to keep it preserved. And if you look at the top here, see this headphone jack? This is very fragile. And when I was shopping, trying to find an original iPod, all of them had broken headphone jacks. Like the inner piece right there was like broken off, it was chipped. And this was the only one I found that had a non-broken headphone jack, which is really a good sign. So that's pretty much it. I have the original iPhone in my display case, but I've shown that before. That is my box of Apple goodies, Apple collection. All right, let me start answering questions. We only have a few minutes left. Oh, I hope I didn't miss any super chats. I was talking for a while. Mr. Bat, thank you for that $1 super chat. I really hope I didn't miss any others. That's as far back as my chat goes. There's another super chat. I have to find it. Faraz Abueda, thank you for that $5 super chat. Good to see you tonight, Faraz. They said, is YouTube Premium worth it even if you have Apple Music? It depends how much you use YouTube. I have YouTube Premium. I think it's worth every penny. And I have Apple Music and I have Spotify. So I don't use YouTube for the music feature, the music streaming service. I only have YouTube Premium to skip ads. It's kind of funny to say that as a YouTube creator because I hope all of you guys are watching my ads. So I can skip ads and so I can play YouTube videos in the background, which is really important for me because I like to play YouTube videos when I'm driving and like have it play through my car speakers with my iPhone in sleep mode with the display turned off. And I just like to do that if I'm like brushing my teeth or taking a shower. I like to have the display off while hearing YouTube videos. So for me, because of how I watch YouTube, it was worth every penny. You just have to think about how do you normally watch videos and will you take advantage of the background video playing and skipping ads. Tanmay Agrawal said, what software do you use for editing? I use Final Cut Pro. Daniel said, I missed a super chat. I apologize. Can you give me the name and the amount so I can shout them out, Daniel? Thank you. I guess they said, I really like your channel. You are really pretty. Thank you very much. I don't get that compliment very much, but it is welcome. Number One Gamer said, does the Home app on Apple Watch buffer sometimes when toggling a smart light? Yes, it does. It does buffer sometimes. But you're saying you have a Series 3. It might be a little slower on the Series 3. I'll show you. I'll do it right now. I'm tapping now. Oh, that was pretty instant. And I'm tapping now. So it's pretty instant. But it may be because I just recently changed the lights so it's sort of all connected to the internet and everything. But if I haven't changed the lights in a while and I go to do it for my phone, my watch, sometimes it does take a second. It'll take a second. But usually, like 90% of the time it doesn't buffer. And that might just be because the Apple Watch Series 4 is quite a bit faster. HXYX Plus. Oh, give me 1 second. Daniel, thank you for posting the information. That super chat was a $7 Russian super chat, I'm assuming, from someone named Perido or Peridot. So thank you very much, Perido, for that $7 Russian super chat. I appreciate it. And thank you, Daniel, for posting that information. I appreciate your help, Daniel. Back to HXYX Plus said, do you think Apple will ever go to, do you think Apple's ever going to make another product with the full Macintosh name? I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so. I think that's just sort of only applies to like the vintage retro Macintosh computers. And now they just use Mac. I think they're going to stick to Mac. All right, I want to answer one more question. And if I didn't get to answer your question, remember to join our Discord server. Daniel will post a link to that in the live chat. Click on it, accept the invitation. It's free as long as, it's free, but you have to be at least 13 years old. That's a Discord rule, it's not my rule. And when you join our Discord, you can post one question, but remember tonight it's 2 questions, but just for tonight because I messed up last week. You can post a question on Discord in the after stream area, and I will be there after each live stream ends, and I answer every single question in a Q&A video that I post on Discord. So it's like an exclusive benefit for our Discord members every week. So make sure you join that Discord. And if you want to see photos of behind the scenes stuff for the channel, make sure you join or follow my Instagram account, the Apple Explained Instagram. Because people are always asking me like, what does your live stream setup look like? So I finally posted a video on Instagram. I mean, a photo on Instagram. Sorry, I have been working all day, you guys. Normally, my Saturdays are relaxing. Normally, I have pizza with my family. I sleep in, I just play video games or whatever, I just relax. Or I do some cleaning, you know, some chores. I was behind on a video that I had to get done by today. It was the history of Microsoft's website. I literally just uploaded it right before I went on to this live stream. This morning, I woke up at 9, I went apartment hunting with my parents and my sister to find an apartment for my sister, not for me. And you know, then I came back in the afternoon, and when I came back in the afternoon, I immediately started working on my video, and I just finished right before I went on. So like my mind is a little bit like I've been nonstop for the past like 11 hours. So that's why I may seem like I'm thinking a little bit slow today or something. Anyway, one more question. Jake Knowles said the fact that you have to pay them to answer your questions, you don't have to pay. It's just that if someone sends a super chat, it gets priority. I do read off other questions, but if I don't answer your question, Jake, please go to Discord and then post it. It's free, and I will answer your question there. Firas Abueda, this will be our last one. This is a super chat. Thank you for that $2 super chat, Firas. They said, what was the worst video you made? Oh my goodness. The worst video I made was the iPhone SE song. I actually made a song. I sang with lyrics about the iPhone SE, like wanting Apple to update the iPhone SE, I think, or something, like how much I love the iPhone SE. Needless to say, it was very cringy, it's very embarrassing, it's very bad. The video was up for maybe like 5-6 months, and then I unlisted it. But if you want to see that embarrassing video, join the Discord. and you will see, you will find, I think Daniel posted it somewhere in there, the unlisted link to this video that I made that just showcases my vocal abilities and my musical theater talent, which of course comes so naturally to me. Oh my God. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your super chats. Don't forget to join the Discord if you want to get another question answered. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will be here again, same time next week, Saturday nights, 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern time. Hope you guys have a great weekend.